I thought I was going to stay here, but I guess it's not that kind of park. So, Inks Lake really is immaculate. They have glorious shower houses and restrooms, all sorts of amenities, volleyball court. It is a camper's paradise, but it's ringed by fancy homes on one side and cabins and campsites on the other. So I can't complain. One of the sites, 305, is where I ended up. I was supposed to be at 346. However, somebody was blaring the Fugees at 10:30 at night and I had to relocate to find some rest. It's a great option, and it must be just swarming with people. It's kind of like Guadalupe River. The parking areas are immense. There's overflow parking for the Devil's Waterhole, just like there was for the Guadalupe River. But on the day that I was here, it was gloriously empty. Hi, I'm Jay, and this morning I'm at Inks Lake State Park. What I want to do is do a site-size painting of the area you see behind me called the Devil's Waterhole. But first, I'm going to get to know the place. I'm going to take advantage of the calm, quiet isolation. I'm going to wait for the light to be a bit more consistent. And, of course, I'm going to jump into the water from the highest point I can find. Now that I'm back to my little perch, I can see the rest of the campers are waking up and taking to the lake. All week long I've been using different triads of primaries to mix it up a little bit, but now there are only 3 left to go with burnt umber and titanium white. Today's mix is going to be with yellow ochre light, burnt sienna for my red, and cobalt blue light. Site size is a traditional technique. First, you imagine a box around your composition. This box is your picture plane. Be clear about how you are cropping your view because you transfer this box to a similar one on your canvas. Set your canvas up to be even with your picture plane. Be sure you can flip your eyes back and forth between the two. Now you can start sighting your angles. Make sure to lock out your elbow. This helps to keep measurements consistent. Be sure to use only one eye. This flattens the scene. Sighting is a form of non-standardized measurement. You will use the same measure you see in the scene when you draw and paint. You can also keep things horizontally aligned to accurately render the scene. The alignment of the scene and the painting surface isn't perfect, but you can see here I'm making little marks based on horizontal alignment. I'm indicating the highest and lowest portions of the rock face. When you're just starting out, take more measurements than you see me doing, but keeping things angular really helps. If you have plenty of time, it's best to focus on a specific order of operations, if you will. And like PEMDAS, you can use the abbreviation AVENUE to remember angles, values, edges. So first, you're just sighting angles and building the drawing, but one key thing to look for is the value separation or shadow shapes. Since I don't have a lot of time, I'll fill them in as I'm drawing them. This condenses another ideal workflow: shape, shadow shape, fill. Typically, a site-size drawing is pretty developed in the angle stage before you ever jump into value. But again, when painting all in plein air, time is of the essence. So I create some secondary mixtures, but at the end, start creating a bit of a value range. As you paint, the main focus now is not just hue separation, meaning where does it change from reddish to gray, etc., but value separation. Keep looking for shadow shapes and make sure you keep your dark values dark. At the very end of the process, spend some time working on edges. If everything is a hard edge, you're communicating a very angular world. But transitional edges, where the value gradually shifts, communicate a curving form or the nature of different surfaces like sky and water. Usually, oil paint stays wet long enough to allow for the creation of gradients at the end. I enjoy keeping a portion of the map visible, so I didn't paint any of the sky, but the value is light enough that it still works. Well, the sun has certainly shifted. Not so much on my subject, but certainly on me. I didn't put on sunscreen this morning, and my right side's getting a little bit toasty. Plus, just 6 miles down the road is another Texas treasure. Let's hit the showers and head over. That's a wrap on sight-size painting and on Inks Lake State Park. In my next episode, I see a side of Texas that I haven't seen in any park yet. Stay tuned.